Doors closing. Addison is next.
I love you.
And we back, baby. Another episode 3 of Blue Line Radio. What's going on to the boys in blue? I'm back, Mike Hughes, Miles Porter, with another episode, man. And I'm really excited about this one. We were going to film on Halloween, which I thought was crazy because it was like such a full circle moment because I mean, over the years, man, I think it just gets harder and harder to continue to chase your dreams because you got so many people either running alongside you, trying to stop you from running. Now, I hit 5 years of the Shy Kid, which I was incredibly proud of yesterday.
Amazing.
So I was very, very much looking forward to doing a show with my brother on Halloween. Actually, Halloween. It's not even Halloween Eve. I don't even know what I'm talking about. But unfortunately, man, we got a lot of things going on in the city of Chicago right now, Evanston and so many other places that are affecting not only my life, but Miles's life and many others on such a more personal level than him and I could even understand. So our thoughts and prayers are out with everybody right now in the Evanston community, everybody in the city of Chicago and the United States as a whole, because shit's fucked up out here, Miles. And we're not going to sit up here and get political, but we're also going to sit up here and tell you the facts that, you know, I've felt like my whole life I am from Chicago. I've never felt like an American. I've never felt like I was from the United States or from the state of Illinois. My whole life, I just knew Chicago. You know what I mean? So I'm always stand with Chicago. I'm always stand with what's right. But we're going to get right into this episode today because we're not going to get too political because we can do that's a whole nother pod for another day. But we got a lot going on, man. We got some politics going on 1060 West Addison right now. Shota Imanaga potentially on the cutting block, not the trade block. Not potentially an extension. We're talking about potentially cutting Shota Imanaga. We have a club option going into the 2026 season that a lot of people, Lance Brozdowski himself and others at the Marquee Network have talked about, could be in the Cubs' best interest in parting ways because of the regression, I think is the preferred word there of the 2025 season of Shota Imanaga and the playoffs as a whole. Miles, I want to start with you, man. Before we get into anything Shota related, this might be our last day of baseball. This might be it for a long time. Now, and I'm saying it might be because we had 18 innings of baseball the other day. So it might go into November 2nd, potentially. You know what I mean? We never know. Yeah. But man, take me through the 2025 season for you, man. How did it live up to the hype and are you satisfied?
Yeah, extremely satisfied. I think it's cool seeing the game really grow and like it's going in a very good direction overall in all of MLB. Granted, like every other major sports league in the United States, forever, the league has issues. There's things that need to be addressed, whether it's in the near future, whether it might be a couple of years from now, if we're going to have another kind of conversation. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't be more proud of pretty much, you know, all these guys that are going out there and balling out and from starting the season in Japan and everything up to now. I'm just so proud to be just beyond just being a Cubs fan, as being a diehard baseball fan. Yeah. I'm so proud of the sport of baseball. I'm so proud of the guys. While I don't always agree with him, I think the commissioner's done some really good things for the game of baseball that have really helped it grow to this point. And I'm excited to see the positive aspect of where it goes. I hope certain chips fall into place correctly, so we're not having a very negative conversation in a few years, because that's not going to be good for the game. We're growing, and I just want to see it to continue going that direction.
Yeah, for sure. And I think honestly, like a lot of people had conversations about what the pitch clock was going to look like and extra
Hmm.
innings, but it's honestly been incredible to really just see the game of baseball evolve into something where I feel like we're seeing so many people stay the entire game now, whereas before it was kind of like you see people dipping out here and there. And obviously those aren't your diehard baseball fans, those are your
Right.
casuals, but casuals
Hmm.
make money just as much as the diehards do. Everybody buys
Hmm.
a ticket. So I think it definitely does benefit the league. It definitely does benefit the game of baseball. But man, this World Series going to a game 7 last night, man. I think there was a lot of different ways that, I mean, the game ending with that double play was incredible. But really talking about this Toronto versus LA, this Drake versus Kendrick part 2 type
Yeah.
series.
Yeah.
It's pretty dope, man. I mean, everybody, I think, for the most part, wants to see Toronto win if you're not from LA. But also, like, I had this conversation the other day with my buddy, and I'm like, look, at the end of the day, man, I would love for the Dodgers to win a championship. And the reason for that is because when you're watching the Michael Jordan of baseball play in real time, you want to
Hmm.
see him win as many championships as possible. And that's Shohei
Yeah.
Ohtani. You know what I mean? I could care less about Dodgers fan bases. I could care less about the Dodgers organization. But I care about watching Shohei Ohtani continue to add to the collection and add to the resume to go down as the greatest of all time. And I think winning back-to-back championships, the first one since the 90s, if I'm not mistaken, or no, early 2000s. It was,
Yeah. Yeah.
I believe it was 2001, 2002, if I'm not
Something
mistaken.
like that. Yeah.
Yankees fans will correct me in the comments. I know they will.
Yeah.
But they'll remind me of every single championship they've won, even though I didn't ask. But man, I definitely do think this has lived up to the hype, man. And I have my own feelings. I do own a Blue Jays hat. I bought it in 2019 because I was such a fan of Bo Bichette. I went to at the time it was what, guaranteed rate in 2019, but I went to Comiskey to go see Vladdy and Bo Bichette in their rookie years play against the
Yeah.
Chicago White Sox, which I thought was super cool at the time. Little did I know that those guys were not only going to be able to coexist, but one day take this team to a game 7 in the World Series in Toronto. So that's super cool. But then again, man, like when you're talking about the greatest of all time, Miles, how could you not want to see him win another one? So can you kind of take me through where your emotions are at in game 7 and what have you thought about this series so far?
Yeah, it's been great, man. This has been a very fun series, and we talked about it in the group chat yesterday. I think it's been really cool to just see like the Blue Jays not really just cave in to the Dodgers, really making the Dodgers work for the most part. I feel like last year, the Yankees, despite having Judge and Garrett Cole and Juan Soto, they were just outmatched. And I don't know if they're outmatched from a talent standpoint, but just in terms of the mental side, it was just too much for them.
Yeah.
Toronto, on the other hand, is just they're gritty, they're hard nosed, they are not afraid of the Dodgers. And hey, they're like, you know what, you want to have this big old payroll, you better work for this World Series. Gosh darn it, especially if you want to win it in 2 years in a row. So I love it, man. And there's so many cool stories coming out. Trey Savage and Vladimir Guerrero breaking out. And I know he had a mistake on the bases, but Addison Barger having a cool moment. And so
Yeah.
you're just really seeing guys that maybe we weren't too familiar with in the beginning of the year really perform on a very big stage. So I think it's incredible. I really enjoy this World Series. I'm super excited for Game 7 tonight. We'll be at another Halloween party, but I'll be keeping up with the game on my phone. And
Yeah.
and and if it gets close, I may have to step outside and watch the last few innings or the last couple of outs.
Yeah.
So I couldn't be more happy with how this World Series has gone.
Well, here's the crazy one too, because I was talking to Brooks Auger, who is in the high A affiliate for the Los Angeles Dodgers the other day,
Mm,
and he's talking to me so much about Klein and what Klein was able to do in that 18th inning. I mean,
mhm.
absolutely incredible performance by Will Klein. The funniest thing is, just a couple weeks ago, he was go-karting with Brooks Auger, I believe in Arizona, if I'm not mistaken. So he's like, he turns on the World Series and he sees not Brooks, he sees Will come in, and he's like, dude, I know this guy. Like, he was left off the playoff roster up until that point. He's brought in, and now he's pitching against Shohei Ohtani and company, or not against Shohei Ohtani. He's pitching alongside Shohei Ohtani and company, which is
Yeah.
like incredible to see the game of baseball. I mean, this is the lowest man on the totem pole in the biggest moment of everybody's career. And
Yeah.
it's just like a beautiful thing in the game of baseball when you really kind of break that down and you really kind of like just piece together that it could literally be anybody tonight. You know what I mean? I think a
Yeah.
lot of people expect it to be Shohei. A lot of people expect it to be, all these different players, Vladdy, Bo. I mean, I
Yeah.
would love for it to be Mookie because you know how much of a Mookie Betts fan I am, but it just doesn't seem
Yeah.
like that tide is turning for him this series. But this is the perfect opportunity for that.
Big hit last night though, so I'm happy. I'm happy
Oh
about that
yeah.
for Mookie. Oh
Oh
my
yeah,
gosh.
needed
Yeah.
that. Needed that.
Yeah.
Shohei was giving him the side. I saw it a few times, and I was like, "Oh man, Mookie, better get a hit soon, man. You're gonna get traded, brother. You're gonna get traded, brother." But no, man. I think tonight's gonna be really cool. Miles, really quick before we get into Cubs talk, who you got winning it all?
Oh man. You know what? I think the Dodgers have the momentum. So I can see the Dodgers winning it. I really want the Blue Jays to win it. So I'm gonna go Dodgers, but I want to see Toronto win.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna call game, and I'm gonna tell you who's winning. I got Dodgers in a walk-off, Will Smith. And that's where I'm leaving it today. Will Smith walk-off. He's going to end the story. I think Will Smith is the unsung hero of the Los Angeles Dodgers organization. I feel like not enough people talk about Will Smith. I feel like this is a conversation. This is a guy who I feel like is one of the better catchers in the league. And I think he's really performed well in October thus far. I would love to get it to Freddie because, fall belongs to Freddie. But I heard a Mariah Carey "All I Want for Christmas Is You" song on the radio this morning. So fall is over, Freddie. I'm sorry, it's not your moment. It's officially Christmas. Skipping right over Thanksgiving, but we're gonna get into the Cubs now, man. I think for me, we're gonna start this conversation with Mike. We're gonna start this conversation with Shota Imanaga. And right now, obviously, like we brought into the conversation when we started this episode, kind of talked about it a little bit last episode as well. There's a club option for 2026 for Shota Imanaga. He signed a 3-year deal with the Chicago Cubs organization way back when in 2023. And honestly, we're at this point right now where I feel like the fan base is divided because I think there's a fan base that says, no, we're keeping Showtime. We need Shota Imanaga here. He's a culture guy. He's still good. We're going to be able to get the best out of him going into 2026. And then I think there's another side where they don't necessarily want him off the team, but they can understand it. Miles, for you, if Shota Imanaga is released by the Cubs this offseason and the conversation is, hey, we're going to release him, but we're going to go after a Dylan Cease with that money that we free up. Are you content with that? Or would you rather try to find a way to keep Shota in this ball club?
Try not to be biased with this answer. I would rather see Shota Imanaga stay. Okay. So I look at what this staff is, what the pitching staff in general, the coaching staff, has done with guys that maybe had not had a lot of success before this year. To me, it doesn't really make sense to jump ship on Shota, especially after what he did in 2024. Granted, yes, 2025, he wasn't missing a lot of bats, a lot of contact, a lot of baseballs over the wall. Are we really going to jump ship on him, or is this something that maybe we can address and build on, right? If they do jump ship on him, that's also going to tell me, all right, hey, Cubbies aren't messing around. They're like, all right, we see a window right now, and it's not what have you done for me overall, it's what have you done for me lately. Tough business of baseball. Right. So I'm kind of in the middle of it. I don't want to see him go because I think that he provides so much, including the personality standpoint. But also, if the Cubs do part ways with Shota Imanaga, all right, hey, they're not messing around. But don't Jed, listen to me right now, Jed Carter, don't please do not do the thing where you like to find a little diamond in the rough, right? It's like, oh, this guy he throws a little bit of like a 92 to 93 with a cutter that moves with this. No, stop it. We have enough of those guys. Get yourself a baller, okay? Please. That's all I'm asking.
100%. And I love what you said about the "what have you done for me lately" conversation, because if the Cubs really are interested in bringing back Dylan Cease, I don't mind it at all, because I was such a huge fan of him. Obviously, it had to happen to get Jose Quintana back in 2017. We ended up going to the NLCS, and that's the last time we made it to an NLCS. So I'm still going to sit here today and tell you that trade needed to happen, because who Jose Quintana was at that time definitely warranted top caliber players such as Eloy and Dylan. Now, did it work out for either club? I'm not going to say it necessarily did, but we got through an NLCS, so I'll take it. And if our guy Gabriel Wilkins is listening, I'll take that. I'll take that more than a first round exit every single year. No, we love Gabe. Check out the new 24 podcast if you haven't already. Keeping up with it every single week. They just did 30 teams in 24 days, which is absolutely incredible. But
That's
I want to get
amazing.
into this, man, because when you talk about what have you done for me lately, 2024 All-Star, Rookie of the Year candidate, Cy Young candidate, Shota Imanaga with a
Yeah.
2.91 ERA, I believe 174 strikeouts. And then you're looking at 2025, 3.73 ERA, 117 strikeouts. So we can obviously get into the metrics and we could talk about his whiff and we could talk about everything else that goes into being a starting pitcher. But I'm just going to give you the basic numbers. And you tell me when we talk about what have you done for me lately. So we're looking at a 291 ERA and then a 370 plus ERA. When you look at Dylan Cease, the last 3 seasons, even a 4.58 ERA in 2023, a 3.70 or 3.47 in 2024, and a 4.55 in 2025. Now he does crack 200 plus strikeouts a year, and I definitely think that is something that this rotation is lacking. Is really just that guy just racking Ks left and right, but Miles, from an ERA perspective and earned run perspective and so much more, I would say that Dylan Cease hasn't been as productive as Shota Imanaga. And if you would have told me at the beginning of the year that we were, let's just say we're trading Shota for Dylan Cease in the beginning of the 2025 season, I would have lost my mind. I would have been
Yeah.
pissed. I'd be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I definitely do think where it's warranted to say, hey, man, Shota did give up more home runs in 2025. And, was that a big play in 2024 to why he didn't was because of the weather and the craziness that was Wrigley Field with the wind blowing in. I definitely do think that Shota deserves grace. I think if anybody deserves grace in this ball club, it's Shota Imanaga because you held on to Jameson Taillon as longer than I think most ball clubs would to try to
Yeah.
wait for him to find his stride.
Yeah.
And he did. So I'll give him that. I'll give J-Mo that. I mean, J-Mo showed up when it mattered most in October, and I think that's what we were all waiting for from him. But for the first couple seasons, I think we were all kind of looking around like, why the hell did we do this? You know what I mean? We bring
Oh
in
yeah.
Matthew Boyd. Matthew Boyd, I mean, we're talking about guys who kind of fell off. First half of the year, he's an all-star. Second half, I mean, I'm afraid every time Matthew Boyd starts, especially in October. So I definitely think there's a lot of guys that you can question right now. Justin Steele was another one of those guys where I believe in Justin Steele. I believe he's going to come back and he's going to be the gun thrower that we know, the gunslinger that we know. But at the end of the day, man, you don't know. But to just give up on Shota, whose contract is relatively cheap, I just think it's very premature. I think Dylan Cease would be great to acquire, but I definitely don't know if I would risk that. You know what I mean? Like, and again, I love the conversations about Jed because Jed does this thing where he starts to bring back guys from the past. And he tried to bring back Jake Arrieta because, hey, maybe that was a Theo decision. Maybe Theo said, we're moving on from Jake and we're bringing in you, Darvish. Hey, we're letting Jamer Candelario go. And then you see a guy like Jed Hoyer take over. He's like, all the guys that Theo let go, I'm bringing back. So you bring back Jamer. You bring back Jake. Now you're trying to bring back Dylan. I think it's super cool. And it's kind of that perspective of why I love talking about baseball because it's like, yeah, Jed was his right-hand man, but does that mean Jed would have made all the same moves that Theo made? And I don't necessarily think that would have been true. So to see him try to get back Jamer in 2023, to see him get Jake, to see him get Dylan, I'm repeating myself nonstop.
Kyle Schwarber potentially as well.
Potentially Kyle Schwarber, but that one was Jed, if I'm not mistaken. Theo was gone by then, no?
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes.
Potentially. I don't even remember.
It was after the 2020 season.
Yeah.
So I believe. No, so you're right. Yeah.
That one, remember, because we were believing in Brennan Davis and Gregory Dykman at that point, Miles Porter. You don't forget that.
We sure were.
Hey, don't forget that the Cubs let go of Kyle fucking Schwarber because Gregory Dykman and Brennan Davis were going to save Chicago Cubs baseball. So if Kyle decides he doesn't want to come back, I can't blame him, brother, because
I do not blame him.
You're going to tell me you wouldn't give me 10 mil, but now you're going to offer me 150. You're out of your box, brother. But no, man, in all seriousness, I think the Shota Imanaga stuff is very interesting. And I think we can kind of transition into that Dylan Cease conversation, Miles. What do you think? How do you look at this rotation differently if Dylan Cease is there versus Shota Imanaga? Does that change anything for you when you're really talking about April to October?
I don't know. I don't think I don't know I don't know how he plays at Wrigley, right? I think though the one of the biggest things that worries me about Dylan Cease is the ERA for sure. Granted, I know that he does eat up a lot of innings, which is incredible. But how is that going to play in terms of when you're pitching in this rotation? with this staff. I kind of want to see what, Tom Hotovy and the rest of the pitching staff is going to do with him, because I wouldn't feel good about, parting ways with Shota Imanaga just for Dylan Cease, for us to bank on that he maybe has a 3.7, 3.5 ERA. Well, Shota's highest ERA when he was a Cub was a 3.7, right? And he's probably not missing. He's not missing as many bats as Dylan Cease. Not this past season, at least. I don't. I don't think. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't think it's going to play as well as people think it is. But I do trust this staff. I know that pitching and defense is an emphasis for the Cubs, so I do trust them. If this is an emphasis for them, and they're able to sort of work with Cease on using his breaking stuff more to be able to utilize his fastball to throw off hitters,
Yeah.
I'm totally fine with it. But like for the most part, what I've seen in San Diego the past few seasons, not very impressed.
Yeah, I hear you. And I'm looking at the stats right now. Dylan Cease has a 4-2 record with an ERA of a 2.47 and 61 strikeouts and 8 appearances against the Chicago Cubs in his career. I can't exactly find the stats right now at Wrigley Field, but I can tell you this. He has played 3 games at Wrigley Field. And in those games, he has only given up 5 runs. So, I mean, it's not the worst.
Oh, that's great. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad.
I'll say that's pretty solid. He had a 3 RA his first time, 5.40 his second time, and then third time, if I'm not mistaken, he had a 0 ERA with 12 strikeouts. So that was pretty cool. That was, I believe that was 2024, if I'm not mistaken. So he's played there twice in he played there once in 2020, once in 2021, and then once in 2024. It's kind of crazy to think he hasn't played as many times as I thought he would have. But I definitely do think Dylan Cease being a part of this organization definitely does help. I mean, you're gonna see me grow out the beard or the stash, whichever one he rolls out. I'll roll up in April, and I'll have my Dylan Cease jersey, because I remember when me and my buddies, we were like just prospect junkies, man. Still are to this day. Those guys have wives and kids now, and I'm still over here on the MILB pipeline app every single weekend, just checking out what's going on. But Dylan Cease was one of those guys that I was just like mesmerized by on what he was able to do as a prospect of the Chicago Cubs. Eugene Emeralds was the team, if I'm not mistaken. Remember the big Bigfoot minor league team that the Cubs had?
Yes.
I don't know where they are nowadays. I know they were with the Giants last time I checked. But Dylan Cease was a part of the Emeralds, man, and I used to watch him a lot, and he was with Myrtle Beach and did a lot of things. I think a lot of my buddies said, "You look just like Dylan Cease, bro." And like now that he has the beard, like I'm feeling it. Just another white man with a beard, Miles. They don't got to,
I was going to say the hair as well, but then
they don't got to do that. You look like just like Mitch Trubisky, brother. And I'm just like, just a white man with a beard, brother. That's all it is. But no, man, in all seriousness, I do think Dylan does contribute to this rotation, but we're the Chicago Cubs, damn it. Find a way to get Shota and Dylan in the building. You know what I mean? Like, let's go over. Like, if we're really going to have a salary cap in 2027, I'm going to say it's going to be in 2027. All right. Let's go fucking crazy in 2026.
Now, the big thing, the breaking even is what we're always hearing about.
Yeah. You have to see it. See my bank statement. That's what I have to see, because we're bullshit. No, but and we can talk all day about financially how this constructed itself, but I definitely do think it's going to be one or the other. There is no way I can sit here all day and
absolutely
out, but it's going to be one or the other. And at this point in time, if I'm looking at Dylan Cease's stats correctly, and we're looking at the 2025 season, home runs 21 in 2025, earned runs 85 versus Shota Imanaga. And honestly, Shota really doesn't have a great argument here. Earned runs 60 and 31 home runs given up. So that is an issue with Shota Imanaga, man. That's going to be a part of it. And it's just one of those things where, like, hey, man, you have 30 starts a year and you're giving up 2 runs a game. You know what I mean? And Dylan Cease is cutting that in half. I mean, it's definitely a situation where you have to also take your lineup into account. And you and I know this lineup could be one of the best in baseball, or they can be completely flat and only give you 1 run in 9 innings, if that time. So we need everything we get, man. We need everything we can get, is what I meant to say. And I definitely think it's a conversation to be had. And I'm happy I'm not in those rooms trying to make those conversations, because I would be one of those guys that is heavily biased on the guys we already have in the room.
Oh, man.
But next up, man, I kind of want to get into this conversation, because It's not Cubs related, but guys, buckle up if you're with us already. This is a guy who's been a Cubs killer his entire career, and I thought he would spend his entire tenure until his last at bat in a Philadelphia Phillies uniform. Bryce Harper kind of having conversations about hearing trade rumors, trade talks in the Phillies organization. They're kind of questioning how much he's given to the organization and the city of Philadelphia. And now we're talking about how he hasn't done enough. Miles, what do you take from that thus far, especially not just from Bryce Harper's perspective, but from the front office's perspective? Like to even let those kind of things be a thought, not just come out, but be a thought that he hasn't done enough. How would you feel as a player at that point?
Oh, dude, that sucks, man. Like it sucks to hear because you, especially when you have vocalized how committed you are to an organization, and it's clear that even when you're playing, this means everything to you. He has embraced the city of Philadelphia. Like this is his heart and soul. He loves his organization. He loves the city. And he embraces the highs and the lows. And a lot of guys can't do that. We see guys struggling with. We see Nick Castellanos struggling with. We saw Alec Baum struggle with it a few times. And Bryce Harper's like, "Hey man, I love this. This is great. This is an incredible atmosphere. Boo me when I suck. Cheer me on when things are going good. I need the honest feedback. That's great." And who was the GM? Is it Dave Dombrowski? If I'm saying the name correctly?
Not mistaken. Let me make sure. Phillies GM.
It was just the comments that the GM had made during that press conference. Yeah, I mean it would piss me off as well. Is it?
It's Preston Mattingly.
Okay. So I don't know where I got the other name from. So
I don't. Well, in fairness, yours sounded way better than Preston Mattingly. I don't even. My fault, Philly.
no worry. Yeah. Oh, sorry. He's the president of baseball ops. My bad. Dave Dombrowski is the president of baseball ops. I guess. I don't really know. But like,
you know how it is.
Yeah. It's just those comments hurt. Those comments hurt. And then to kind of like roll back on them a few days later when you hear about Bryce Harper's reaction. Come on, man. I just a guy like Harper, you gotta give him more credit than that. He has done everything that you could possibly ask. When he's getting injured in the outfield, he moves to first base and becomes a Gold Glover for his baseman. I don't want to hear about his regression and how he may not be good again, or he may not get to his own. I don't want to hear about all that. Get out of here with that, man. Just appreciate him for what he's done for your organization. You know how many teams would kill for him? You know what Cubs fans would do to have a Bryce Harper?
100%, dude. And like, look, man, one day I'm gonna have a couple of kids, and they're crawling around and asking me who's one of the greatest baseball players I've ever seen, I'm gonna tell them it's Bryce fucking Harper. Like Bryce Harper against the Chicago Cubs, 305 batting average, 74 hits, 13 home runs, 40 RBIs, 49 runs scored in 69 games. Mind you, we're not even just talking about the playoffs here. Like we're talking about an absolute monster, a Cubs killer, if you will. And I can openly admit that what he did to Carl Edwards Jr., I'll never unsee. You know what I mean? Like that man.
Oh my goodness.
That man just I never saw Carl again, if we're going to be completely honest. The string bean was fried, brother. And that was it. And it's just one of those things for me, man, where a guy like Bryce Harper not getting the respect he deserves. I mean, remember the Philly Fanatic bat and what he's done in the city of Philadelphia, and just
come on, bro.
Bringing them back to relevance. Like it just doesn't make any sense to feel the need to utter the words that Bryce Harper hasn't done enough, and to even kind of feel that way bothers me, because it's one thing to say something openly or to have that trickle out and kind of get back to the source. Is kind of how I feel like they kind of went about that. They just wanted him to hear that to help him get to that next level. Like he's
right. Yeah.
You're a league MVP, brother. I don't know how much more you want from him. Maybe throw some pitching
man.
around him and you'll get something. But I definitely do think for Bryce, I think he stays a Philly. I think that's just what it is. For
sure. Yeah.
I don't see that changing, especially with the no trade.
He ain't come to the Cubs, I'll tell you that much. That's too much money. What?
It's too much money. He's not one of the guys that we're looking at right now. Yeah, no one ever is. No one ever is, brother. And like that's going to be one of our last topics, Miles.
Yeah.
In the last few years, we have seen those such as Bryce Harper, Manny Machado, Shohei Ohtani, Juan Soto, Pete Alonso, Garrett Cole. The list goes on of amazing players that have become free agents. They're on the top of the shelf, just waiting to be bought. Who is on your wish list right now? And I think it's a tricky conversation because we also understand the organization we're with. And you understand that, hey, man, yeah, we didn't really go after a Shohei Ohtani or a Juan Soto. Why not? They don't fit what we're trying to do right now. Whatever that meant. So
Remember,
like,
we got to take care of the 2032 Chicago Cubs.
of course. So you know what I mean? We got to worry about that. So who's on your wish list this winter, man? We'll call it Cubs realism is what we'll call it.
I really like our roster for the most part. So I'm kind of so there's three guys. They're all they're all kind of similar.
Yeah.
But I'd be okay if we brought back Tucker.
Okay.
I have an eye on Belly and my guy Schwarber.
Okay.
Now, granted, there is no way that we're gonna have two of these guys. It would be one of these guys. They're all sort of the same hitting profile.
Hey.
But when I say hitting profile, just from the left side,
yeah,
what they do in the lineup is different.
What your mom used to tell you, Miles? What she used to tell you when you went to the store? You get one toy. You get one.
Yeah.
That's it. You can't get two.
Yes.
You're not getting three. I tell you what, you ain't getting four. So you get one toy, brother. And that's kind
my
of
mom is so Jewish. She's like, Miles, put the toy back. Put the toy back. And I'm like, okay. All right.
My mom would be like, "You got toys at home." I'd be like, "All right, well, they're hand-me-downs, and my sister's 10 years older than me, so I don't know what we're talking about." But no, man, I'm with you. I think those are great choices. I think obviously the return of a former Cub is kind of where I love that conversation being because it's a guy, whether it's Belly, whether it's Schwarbs, or whether it's Tucker. You know, those are guys who have worn a Chicago Cubs uniform before. So you kind of have a good idea, a good understanding of the type of player they're going to be on and off the field. So I love those guys. I don't have a single problem with any of them. You know, I had a very hard time parting ways with Belly, an even harder time parting ways with Schwarbs. The one I don't really have a hard time parting ways with is Tucker, but a lot of people get shit for that one. But it's just kind of like, I just needed to see more, and maybe an extension.
It's a common sentiment. It's a common sentiment.
Maybe an extension will do that. Maybe Tucker and I just needed to spend a little bit more time together. You know what I mean? Like it's just one of those things. I'm sure.
I just thought we should have kept Belly. It didn't make sense. There was not a world. By the way, Bush was incredible this year. Yeah. Matt Shaw was great defensive this year. Fine.
No, you know what? Miles,
I saw a world where Michael Bush could have played third, Belly at first, and Tuck in right. That would have been lit.
You didn't even have to do it. You just Ian Happ, bye, and then just put Belly in left. Like that's all you had to do. That's all you had to do. Like we don't even need. Let's stop trying to move Michael Bush the third. Ian Happ is a chair in the box.
I love Ian Happ. I can't do it. No, I can't do it.
I'm over it. If you're telling me right now, Miles, that you will take Ian Happ over Cody Bellinger, I will shit. I will shit on live. No, I'm kidding. But like. Bro, I can't because I hated that conversation. I hated even saying that to you that we would move Michael Bush to third.
Did he come up as a third baseman? He could play the corner.
Right, sure. No, he could. He came up as a third baseman. Then, like, what are we doing with Matt Shaw? And then it's like, there's just so many of these questions. And
I thought Nico was going to get shipped. Remember, we thought that he was going to get traded? That's what I thought process came in. But it didn't work out that way. So,
And I'm blessed it didn't because the conversations about Nico maybe going to Seattle, which would have been a lot of fun to see Nico Horner in Seattle. I will say that. Now, Nico's my favorite player in this entire ball club, so I'm not going to sit here and act like I would have been happy to see him succeed somewhere else. I wouldn't have been.
Level 10 crash out.
Level 1,000. Like to me, a lot of people might not agree with this, but like in my eyes, Nico Horner is the modern day Rhino. And what I mean by that is like, yeah, he's not insanely electrifying vocally. He's not going to be that guy, the hype man, but like he's got energy, he's got swag, and he goes about his business the right way. And I think he embodies what it means to be a Chicago Cub. He reminds me so much of Rhino, so much of what Anthony Rizzo was, where it's like he's a fun guy, but like, I mean, once you step on the lines, man, once you step on the diamond, it's it. You know what I mean? Like it's Nico Suave is a Chicago Cub. I will never say otherwise.
Can I add to that a little bit? Because you made a really good point. And look, I love our boys, bro. I love this team. They're my heart and soul. This is what we
Hold
do.
on, Miles.
Blue Line
Hold on.
Radio.
Let me. If you're watching this right now on YouTube, I gotta give my man.
Okay,
Say what you gotta
look,
say.
man. Is it just me? Do I just get the? Am I
It's
just getting
you.
the?
It's your time. I'm leaving. You let me know when you're done, sir. You let me know.
Look, here's what I'm saying. I love this team. They're my heart and soul. I love this team more than anything. But maybe we just get like an enforcer, right? Now we have enforcers. We have Justin Steele, right, who brings that energy. PCA shows a lot of emotion, right? But when you look at this Cubs roster as a whole and watch this team, go back and watch a lot of what this team has done. It's a lot of guys that are very even keel, very cool. Dansby Swanson, cool and collected. Nico Horner, cool and collected. Ian Happ doesn't show a lot of emotion. When you look at Kyle Tucker, a lot of guy, very stoic. What would be helpful, I think, also for this ball club is if we have someone that's going to maybe piss off some guys in that clubhouse. Do you know what I mean when I say that, or ruffle the feathers of the other team? I know a lot of us didn't agree with what Wilson Contreras said when he left, but he also had a point where it's like, hey, that team, it doesn't always feel like a winning mentality. It's always not too competitive. Get some guys on this ball. Give me a Carlos Zambrano, gosh darn it. You look at Jose Siri, right? I mean, he's hitting like 160 every single year, but hey, man, he's going around. He's pissing people off. Tommy Pham, another one of those guys. I think that's another personality piece on this Cubs team that we need. We need a guy that's going to kind of give a little slap on the ass. Hey, this is what are we doing? Step it up. Figure it out right now. That would be great for this Chicago Cubs ball club.
I think it was perfectly said, and I think we got too many blue collar men, is what I'm saying. I think we need some psychopaths. We need some killers in the room. That's
Oh
really
wait, I
where
just
I'm at.
lost connection.
It's
I
okay.
can't hear you anymore.
Can you hear? Are you sure?
Wait,
Can you hear me now,
can you hear me?
Mr. Miles? I can hear you. Can
Wait,
you hear
hang on.
me? We
We're
lost
gonna figure
connection for
this
2 seconds, but I'm gonna still keep going. I think for me, it's just one of those things where there's not enough killers in the room. There's not enough people with
Oh
energy. There's
God.
not enough people going on and really just going crazy. You know what I mean? So we're gonna figure out what's up with Miles, but I definitely do believe at the end of the day that like with this organization, there's so many guys that are clocking in and clocking out, pushing their 9 to 5, and that's really it. You know what I mean? Like when we saw the L flag, you should be pissed. You should be pissed that there was an L flag being raised after you lose game 5. That's really what it is. Miles, can you hear me? Miles, can you hear me?
I can't hear you, but
Hey,
I know you're preaching
you know
right
what I'm
now.
preaching? I hope everyone can hear Miles. But no, man, I think it's super dope. I think it's gonna be one of those things where I mean, at the end of the day, we really just sit here and we understand that this team can be better. This team can really just, grab themselves by the bootstraps and say, we're going on a fucking run. You know what I mean? And that's really where I'm at. And I think it's gonna be really exciting to see what kind of guys we bring in. We're gonna try to get Miles's back. And then I don't know. I just think there's somebody we can grab that is going to be better in the long run. So for me, before we get Miles back in here, I think when we talk about who the Cubs could bring in, Miles said he wants one of the former Cubs, Tucker, Belly, or Schwartz. I'm going to go on a different list. I'm going to talk about the arms. For the arms, I think you're looking at a Dylan Cease, potentially Chris Sale. There's a club option there. He's 37 years old. He's a 10.0 WAR, so it would be very hard to not bring him back. But I also could see a world where they decide, hey man, we're gonna try to save some money, bring in some younger arms. Another guy that I'm really interested in. I don't know if he would opt out, but I've been huge on a Michael King. A Michael King would be insane for this Cubs organization right now. Let's see if we got Miles back. Miles, are you here?
Yes, we're good.
Beautiful. Love it. I'm here for it. So I said, obviously, you're talking about the outfielders. You're talking about the
Yeah.
former Cubs. You're talking
Hmm.
about the guys who we understand have worn Cubby blue before, worn the white and blue. I'm talking about some guys maybe they have, some guys maybe will. You know what I
Right.
mean? Let's talk about some
Right.
arms. There's a club option on Chris Sale, who's 37 years old. Michael King, it's a mutual option. Let's see if he decides he wants to be a free agent. And then obviously Dylan Cease. I think for me, Chris Sale would be super sick. Chris Sale in a Cubs uniform would make my Christmas just to wear the jersey. I would buy his
Electric. Yeah.
immediately. And to have another arm like that, if you told me today, let's break it down. Cubs fans, take a walk with me. Let's close our eyes. We're all gonna sit here. We have to take our feelings out of this conversation, okay? But just take a walk with me. I think it's worth the walk. Miles, are you ready for the walk?
Yeah, I'm ready.
The Chicago Cubs have optioned and released Shota Imanaga. The choices available: Michael King, Chris Sale, and Dylan Cease. If you told me we let Shota go to replace him with a Michael King or a Chris Sale, no problem. Dylan Cease, I could sell myself on it come opening day, but I'd need some time just because of what he's been lately. But if you're going to argue that the guy who's won the Cy Young in recent years is a bona fide Hall of Famer, World Series champion, isn't worth Shota Imanaga, we're just lying to ourselves. If Chris Sale is available, you option Shota Imanaga and you call it a day. You get Chris in a Cubby blue uniform. That's what I want. That's all I'm asking for. Santa, check the list. Look at it twice, brother. I've been on my best behavior just to make this happen. And that's really where I'm at. Miles, am I wrong in putting all my chips in on a 37-year-old pitcher?
No. Chris Sale has proven himself, especially over the past 2 seasons, that he is a very solid pitcher still, very electric pitcher. No, not at all. I would love that. And it goes into what I was saying earlier. A guy, also a personality guy, also a fireballer. Cool. He's gonna expect, he's gonna go out there. He's gonna give you 6 2/3, 7 1/3. He's gonna come back from the dugout. Hey, offense, do your fucking job. Absolutely.
If he doesn't like your fucking jersey, he'll grab a pair of scissors before the game and just obliterate it. Remember that?
I remember that.
Absolutely insane.
Let's make sure he likes the City Connect jerseys before he sign them. Be like, hey, Chris, try this on.
Try this on.
Cubby blue, yeah.
We'll send a couple.
Powder blue.
We'll send some to the wife and kids. Make sure you guys like it. Let me know if you don't. You know what I mean?
Do a test run, a little fitting. That's all.
I love it. I actually interviewed the guy who got called up to replace Chris Sale after they suspended him for that game for ripping up the jersey. Anthony's a hell of a ball player, incredible guy. But I was like, dude, you should have had him sign that jersey because he's the reason you got called up. That would have been sick.
Yeah.
I don't know if Chris would have did it, but I think it would have been cool like later on down the line. But yeah, man, I think this is a great place to end. This is a great episode. I think we got a lot done. I think obviously we're gonna talk more about the wish list as the season goes on and as the off season goes on. But the off season's officially here, ladies and gentlemen. By the time this airs, which will be later tonight, the World Series will be underway, and it's the last game of baseball for the 2025 season, unfortunately, unless you watch the Fall League and Winter Ball. But for Major League Baseball, this is it. It's been an absolute blast to be able to make content, interview people in the street, interview Miles in the street whenever I'd run into him. I try not to get hit by the Addison bus every time I'd see Miles because I'd scare his girlfriend and run immediately across the street. But I definitely do think it's just been a great year, man, all around. I think we saw some great baseball. Nick Kurtz, Rookie of the Year, in my personal opinion, alongside his co-host and Jacob Wilson. I mean, we've seen some amazing ball.
Yeah.
Tariq Skubal continuing to do it. Yamamoto, some of the best pitching I've seen in the playoffs since Madison Bumgarner and so many others, man. It's been a blessing to really see this, to see Rafael Devers get traded before the trade deadline. I mean, it's just insane season, man. And a season that I will remember for quite some time. Cubbies' first playoff push in 5 years and make it all the way to the NLDS. We will be back, but we appreciate you guys tuning in. Happy Halloween. I hope everybody was safe and healthy. Thanksgiving's on the way. There's a lot to be thankful for. One of those being Kyle Schwarber and 50 home runs a year, potentially. That's the narrative I'm pushing, ladies and gentlemen. That's the narrative I'm pushing. But until then, man, be safe, be lovely, be kind out there. Till next time, peace.
Doors closing.